Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. Happy Friday, the 6th day of February 2026. February 6, 2026. I hope you're all safe and healthy. I hope you got some good weekend plans, and I hope that you and your family are being provided for in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health. Blessings upon those that work in health, along with first responders every day, trying their best to save lives. Those that pick up garbage, keep streets, cities, and towns clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, recover teenagers and children, unfortunate victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are helping those that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perverts, the profiteers, and those that are the perpetrators of these things. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. The New York Knicks acquired Jose Alvarado, and that's the main point of this video, but I just want to go over some house cleaning stuff quickly. Number one, the Knicks play Detroit tonight. Detroit is on the second night of a back-to-back at home. Just lost last night to the Wizards. Yes, they lost to the Wizards. And apparently, as I was watching the end of the game yesterday, they lost to the Wizards. And I'm listening to the Detroit broadcasters who said that the Wizards was going to beat Detroit the last time they played them, that the Wizards would have beaten Detroit, but that Detroit got some, this is their own broadcast, Detroit got some calls that were questionable that caused them to pull out a win. So it seems to me, again, the league is such that it's a matchup thing during the course of the season. Anybody could beat anybody. Here's the Wizards basically playing right now with sitting AD, Anthony Ambulance, as well as the Leprechaun, trying to get a lottery pick and basically tanking. And so here they are tanking, playing their youngins, and they match up well enough against Detroit to beat them, and they beat them last night. So that brings the Knicks 4.5 games and Boston 4.5 games out of first. So now it's the Knicks playing Pistons tonight. It's the Knicks playing Boston Sunday. So it's a big weekend for the Knicks starting tonight. And so it's on right now. It's on. This is pre-All-Star game. Really, after the All-Star game is when the real nitty-gritty season starts. February 19th. Is when really you start that stretch running. For the Knicks, that's going to be the toughest stretch of the season. But the Knicks are ready, as we talked about. Now, let's talk about Deuce McBride, and let's talk about Jose Alvarado. And the thing is, there's most people, when they hear news, they act like the Knicks just heard it. Like everybody heard the news that Deuce needs surgery, and he's going to have surgery today. And everybody acts like they just found this out this week because you just found it out this week. No. Don't work like that. Again, we've been trying to tell you how the Don operates. Some of y'all still ain't catching the memo. And then there's knuckleheads out here talking about Deuce might get traded. Now, Deuce might get traded so they can sign Mitch. And you're going to not be on my channel. And you know who you are. And some of you private message me this BS. And you act like because you private messaging me, I won't cut you off. I'm going to. Okay? If I put the disclaimer out there for you to understand. You cannot say that stuff about Deuce or Mitch, Tibbs on my channel. You can't. This ain't your democracy. It ain't. So I'm finished warning you. But let's go over the overall situation that caused Alvarado to be a Knick before we start tripping. First off, let's go back in time. Not that far either. December 7th, 2025. That's a little over 2 months ago. Deuce McBride hurts his ankle. December 7th. He hurts his ankle on December 7th in a game. Who were they playing? They were playing Orlando. The Knicks won the game, 106-100. Deuce hurt his ankle in that game. He played 21 minutes. He was 1 of 7 from the field. Didn't shoot well. Of course, played terrific defense. He was +5. So he hurts his ankle. He misses the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Okay? He comes back on December 29th in a win against the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, he comes back in that game. He scores 14 points. He's +8. From that point, He plays the next 15 games, and then he gets sat out for what the Knicks call day-to-day left ankle management. Now, that was December 7th to January 27th, okay? In December 15th, around the middle of December, Ian Begley reports the Knicks are interested in Jose Alvarado. Now, I did not understand, and I mentioned it multiple times, and some say, oh, I know you don't like Alvarado. That's not what I said. Some of y'all can't hear. Your attention span is too short. You might be suffering from ADHD. Need to get yourself checked out. I never said I don't like. In fact, I went on my way to say I like Jose Alvarado, but I didn't understand the fit. That's what I didn't get. Because they kept listing Deuce as day-to-day, which gives you the indication he could come back at any time. So if you have Deuce, Alvarado, that would leave Kolek as the odd man out. And we didn't want Kolek as the odd man out because Kolek has been showing steady progression this whole season. He's showing steady progression, his confidence increasing. So we don't want really to put him on DMPCD duty, right, when he's playing so well. He may not be able to play in the playoffs because the playoffs for the grown-ass men. He might, but he's really progressing, so we got to see when that goes. But if you was to get Alvarado and Deuce came back, he wasn't going to, Kolek is the odd man out. So I was like, well, I don't like that, okay? And that's why I kept saying I don't understand the infatuation with Alvarado. I was, as you know, I was advocating for Sadiq Bey, somebody that could take Yabusele's place, who I also, somebody asked me as early as this week, what do you think could happen to Yabusele? He didn't play. Is there a sign? And I think I've been saying for 2 months now, he's going to be traded. Okay? He's going to be out. And he was. So, that's why I don't jump on all the time on something that everybody else jumps on, like to get I'm the first one to report it. I mean, come on. I don't care about that. What I do care about, and y'all should know, for example, the OG call that I called a year before it happened. The McCall call that I called 2 years before it happened. The Towns call, which I called a year before it happened. The drafting of Deuce, the drafting of Grimes, I called before it happened. I like to do that, you know, and then when it happens, yes, we're going to do it because I called it before it happened. The Tibbs was different. The Tibbs hit different to me because I was not expecting them to fire Tibbs after going to the ECF and on the verge now of going further. That I did a special one on that one, but usually no. And for example, if you recall last summer, I told y'all Oklahoma City is not going to pick up Hartenstein's option because they ain't paying $180 million in taxes. So you already now heard Hartenstein was on the trade market, but he didn't get traded. Well, they're not going to because they want to win this chip first. They got until the end of June to decline the team option, which they're going to do. So Hartenstein's going to be available. It's going to be hard for the Knicks to get him, though, unless you trade in Karl-Anthony Towns. And if Karl-Anthony Towns keeps doing what he's doing now in terms of the rebounder, I'm not even talking about his scoring, his rebounding dominance, horsing the boards and being physical, he ain't going nowhere. And nor should he, because he helped the Knicks win. But if that was to fall on his face, they could possibly get Hartenstein. But there's going to be a lot of teams calling Oklahoma City. There's going to be some exceptions, like you're going to see like San Antonio may not be interested, nor Miami because they got Khalil Ware, right? Somebody like that may not be interested because they got a guy already. But there's other teams, like Denver's not going to be interested. But other teams like Orlando, you know, Charlotte, they might be interested. The Pacers would be, but they just gave away serious assets in Benedict Mathurin to get Zubac because they've been desperate for a 5, you know, for a minute, and they let Miles Turner, it's raining men, walk. So they got Zubac now, who's going to be cheaper than, obviously going to be cheaper than Hartenstein. So most teams, though, are going to be calling about Hartenstein. Most teams, okay, and making moves to get him. It's going to cost about $30 million a year, which is in this environment is very reasonable for a guy that's going to impact your team for a chip like he can. So he's going to be available. And I like to come up with stuff like that. I did a special thing called that in August. They're going to be letting Hartenstein walk. Now, if they're smart, what they want to do is do a sign and trade. Okay? But It'd be hard for them to do a sign and trade because they're trying to avoid the 180 million. So they just was let him walk and then save that 30 million and get that off their books. That 180 million going to drop at least by half, probably more, by just letting Hartenstein walk. That's how the money situation makes deals for teams now instead of just talent. So that's coming. I like stuff like that. But this thing, we hold the guy around, people's like, are you going to do a merge? No, I'm not doing it. I don't need to be the first one to be online and get clicks. No. But back to our story. So Deuce, when he was hurt in December, they kept listing him as day-to-day. During that whole time, when you started hearing them talk about Alvarado, you got to understand, the Don and them probably already knew there was more to this. Then he comes back and plays 15 games, and they sit him again on this January 28th. That's when they knew. They said, oh, shoot, this thing is more than just his ankle. It's a hernia situation. So with a hernia, I looked it up. If you have surgery, your recovery time from the pain is 3 to 6 weeks. Your total recovery time is 6 to 12. So if he has the surgery today, you're talking about 3 months from now, March, April, May. He'll be back right before the playoffs, okay? And knowing Deuce, he's going to be pushing to come back. But as I mentioned yesterday, it was similar to they did with the Shamet situation, where now they're not really letting any information out. And of course, in Knicks Nation, in the media, that just creates speculation and clickbait, which people take advantage of, which they did in this case. It would mean, though, they just want to find out, does he need surgery or can he avoid surgery? If he avoids surgery, can he come back this season? If he gets surgery, can he come back this season? So they're looking at all of the options. Meantime, the Don ain't saying nothing, and he's not breaking no league rules because Deuce did have a hurt ankle. So he could say we got him on left ankle management and list him as day-to-day. That way, New Orleans is not thinking, as some of y'all do this all the time, you show desperation, and that's the worst way to go about a deal. The Don never shows desperation, and he never lets information out. So when people think they got information, you can know they lying. The Don don't let no information out, as none of us knew what was going on. Then all of a sudden, if you think the week they get the deal done for Jose Alvarado, the same week they announce Deuce is going to have surgery, you think that's coincidence? It's not. And I understand Begley. Begley is probably the dude that the Knicks trust with media information. Okay, and for good reason. He's a solid dude. He ain't gonna sell out. So Begley made it sound like, well, this is all just fortunate time. No, it's not. No, it's not. I beg to differ with my esteemed friend. Well, he's not my personal friend, but I respect Ian Begley, as you know, one of the wise men. But I disagree. They knew. Okay, and they timed it all to come out when it came out. So New Orleans made the deal with the Knicks after the deal was solidified with Dalen Terry. And that's, again, even myself. I mentioned Dalen Terry, how he could help the Knicks yesterday, and he didn't even have to show up to do a physical because he was being shipped out on the next deal. Thank you, Yabusele, for renouncing that option year so the Knicks can move you. Hopefully the Bulls make up for it and give him that 5.7 next year. But the Knicks save money there. So now they get Dalen Terry, send him to New Orleans with 2 first-rounders. The Knicks had 9 first-rounders. So they can give him 2. No problem. And you all know, you should know, the Knicks know how to turn second-rounders into rotation pieces. Ask Tyler Collitt, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. They know how to do that. So with the parity today, you get some talent in the second round. And you ain't got to pay as much. And still, we still got a second round. You still got McCullough. You still got Hupoi. You got second-round picks that could ball, right? So they can give away a couple second rounds. So they do that. They get Jose Alvarado. They reduce the money, the overall salary cap. They now are in a position to sign both Deuce and Mitch. What most people, these knuckleheads, don't understand is Deuce's salary is not going to go into effect until the year after next, not next season. Mitch's goes into effect next year. So the $22 million they're under the second apron right now, that's for Mitch. Not the whole 22, I'm just saying. They could dip into that and get Mitch back. They can dip into that and get Shamet back, okay? Good news, though, of all of this is I'm glad Jordan Clarkson is still on the team. I was a little concerned about that, because they were giving him Brown in his unpredictable ways, was not giving him consistent minutes. I didn't understand it, but I'm glad homeboy is still with the Knicks, and he's going to help us down the stretch. Now, they come out with the information this week, but they knew weeks ago. They did it legally because they could say he's out. They don't have to say he's got the hernia and the ankle. All they got to do is mention the ankle and that they're managing he's not playing, which is what happened. Now, Deuce can be back for the playoffs, which is very good. This is the thing. Everybody in New York gets so hyped at any new player. We could get a G League player and everybody's going to, he's the future superstar. He's going to take somebody's place. Alvarado's good. He is. Tough. Dog, 94 feet defense like Deuce. But let me tell you something. He ain't Deuce. I'm just telling y'all. Y'all gonna like him because in New York, we like people that put their heart out on the floor, right? So y'all gonna like him. We all gonna like him. He gonna be tough as nails. We got another tough dog that's gonna go against Detroit. I don't know if he's gonna be able to play tonight or not, but he's gonna be in the rotation. So your rotation, though, you got Mitch, you're gonna have Alvarado, Clarkson, and you're going to have Shamet. That's your rotation. And then you get some Kolick in there. But there's not a 4 spot. I'm wondering if they're going to sign a guy that can guard and play 4. Usually it's going to be a multiple position guy that they're talking about. It's going to be a multiple position guy. So it's not going to be a guy that's a strict 4. It's going to be a guy that can play the 4 if you need him to, play the 3 if you need him to, guard all of those positions if you need him to, okay? And that's what they're looking for. And they got now a situation where there's enough money that they can sign. Now, this Haywood Highsmith, 29 years old, he used to kill the Knicks when he was on Miami. He is 6'5", 220. So he's a little short, but 220, he's a roughneck. So, and he come out the Miami situation. He signed a contract with Brooklyn, or he got traded to Brooklyn or whatever, but now he's just been released by the Nets. So they do that, teams, to give a guy like this a chance to sign with whoever he wants to. There's several players like this. So I'm looking at this Highsmith guy, and I'm thinking, we'll see what happens. And when you don't see a guy and he's good, he could help a team, I'm just saying. He's from B-More, he could help a team. But I'm just saying, when a guy like this doesn't sign right away, usually they'll sign right away. We still in the early stages. But when he does not sign right away, right, it's because he's talking to a particular team. And he's got an idea of what team he wants to play for. Now, he was just in Brooklyn, okay? He was just in Brooklyn. I'm thinking, I guess what I'm saying all this, he's a good candidate for the Yabusele spot. We still have not filled the Yabusele spot. Kings still got Precious, so he ain't going nowhere. San Antonio still got Sohan, so he ain't going nowhere. So, okay, what they going to do then? Well, they're going to have to, and the Knicks have done this before, they're going to have to sign somebody off the market of people that were waived, and they can do it as early as March. I think March 2nd or something. So they can afford that prorated salary through, from March. Hey, I like that guy. So we'll see. Right now, you're going to have to see OG playing a lot of 4 and 5. Cat playing 5, right? Mitch Rob playing 5. Cat playing 4, Mitch Rob on the floor. They could do that for now. But I'm still thinking they're going to add another guy. They're going to add another guy off that wave market. And I'm looking at Haywood, if there's somebody else out there. There's some guys going to get swept up right away, right? But we're going to find out what happens. See, we'll see. But for now, the Knicks got their roughneck in Alvarado. They got Shamet still. That combination, they're going to be nice together, those two. Okay, because they both play roughneck defense, and we know Shamet could shoot the lights out. So you got them two. You're going to have, of course, JB and McCall. You're going to have a little Kolick thrown in there. But even without Deuce, look, you got Kolick at the point behind Brunson. You got Shamet you got Alvarado, at the point behind Brunson. You got Kolek behind Alvarado, depending on how many minutes. You understand? So Brunson going to play 30 minutes. There's basically 48 minutes of point guard available. Brunson going to play at least 30. That leaves 18. Okay? Alvarado going to probably play at least 12, 15. That leaves, what, 3? That's what I'm saying. There's not going to be a lot of minutes for the point guard. Alvarado's going to get a lot of those minutes. And then Shamit's going to get the off-guard minutes because there's 48 minutes at the 2 spot. Now, McCall plays the 2 spot, but he also plays the 3. So there's lineups where McCall's playing the 3 and not the 2. So that leaves more minutes for Shamet, and you want Shamet out there. If McCall's going to play, let's say he's going to play 30 minutes at the 2. And that's probably, I'm probably exaggerating. He's going to play less than that because he's going to play some 3. But that 18 minutes, that's going to go to Shamet. That's going to be Shamet's 18 minutes, okay? And Shamet probably going to get more than that. So you're going to have Shamet. Now, again, even with this, Kolek is going to be hard-pressed to get 8 minutes. You know, if somebody's in foul trouble, he'll get some minutes, but it's going to be tough. See? That's why I didn't understand when I thought Deuce was coming back. Why would they look at Alvarado? Well, they already knew Deuce wasn't coming back for me. They just didn't let everybody else know. Again, a Don move. He convinces Yabusele to waive his player option so that he could trade him to Chicago. Yabusele immediately is in the rotation in Chicago. Immediately. And then, so he's going to get taken care of. Don does that. And now the Don has Dalen Terry plus 2 seconds. He goes and gets Alvarado. And before the dust clears, before the Pelicans know about Deuce being hurt for the rest of the season, we already got our guy. That's a Don move. That's forward thinking, forward looking. That's not letting any information out. So y'all can stop guessing. And now we're ready. Okay? So tonight we play Detroit in Detroit. Now Detroit matches up well with the Knicks. But don't match up well with Washington. We know what we did to Washington the other night. I was there. But that don't mean nothing tonight. Okay? Detroit's been tough. One of the best teams in the league on back-to-backs. So in that situation, we got to come in ready to play. Again, physical. Cat, physical. Whatever they're going to call, they're going to call. But you got to be physical and don't be whining to the refs. Because I'm telling you, they're going to let Cat, they've been letting Cat get beat up. They're going to let Brunson get beat up. We got to be physical back at them. In fact, we got to initiate the physicality. We got to bring the fight to them. Okay? If it's a boxing match, you don't let the fight come to you. You got to bring it to them. They're not good at defense and counter-punching like Shakur Stevenson. Make you look stupid trying to come at them. No, in the league, it's just 2 slugfests. We got to come out swinging. T Lopez. We got to do that style. Come out swinging. See what you got. Bring it. Both teams. If they lose the game tonight, but they play physical, I don't have a problem with that. Still plenty of time. But if they play physical and play their game, low turnovers, and I noticed Brunson has been very good. Not just Brunson, though. I noticed Washington last night. They did not let whoever Asur was guarding take the ball up. They would skip passing it into the front court. I think every team has figured that out. That's the new way to battle the 94-foot dudes like Thompson. Okay, so they did that last night. They were getting that ball up the court in a few seconds and nullifying that 94-foot pressure that they put on you. So the Knicks need to do that, Mr. Brunson. Don't dribble the freak out of the ball. Pass it. Let it move. Again, when Brunson takes less than 21 shots, the Knicks are very formidable. He needs to do that. And then rebound the basketball, be physical, protect your paint. Last night, Washington was getting in the paint at will against Detroit, which was surprising to me. Okay, Detroit's one of the teams don't let you get in the paint. But again, this is the league. On any given night, they didn't think it happened. So Washington was getting in the paint at will. They weren't getting in the paint at will against the Knicks, but they were against Detroit last night. So we got to guard our paint, which the adjustments Brown has made, very good. Alvarado is going to be very helpful in that scenario. Okay, so let's get this dub tonight if we can. Y'all enjoy the game. The Deuce is going to be back. Don't worry. I'm worried about Deuce. Y'all just need something to worry about. I don't know what to tell you. Deuce going to be all right. Knicks gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. Move forward, brethren. We got the game plan. Alvarado's in place. Deuce is coming later. Y'all enjoy the rest of this night, this game, your weekend. We'll talk soon. Shalom.